Hi and welcome to another day of Swift challenges. Now in this one, your challenge is we had some data that we're saving into, we've got data being presented in a table view, and we had a check mark appearing beside each of the numbers. Now with this one, we want it so that if, say, you close the app, I'll just try and get that, there we go. And if I close that checkbox app, where is it now? I've got so many in here. Here it is. It'll reopen. Now this is the other one. So as you can see, it didn't show the check mark. So it wasn't that one. Where is it? Let's try this one. There we go. So this one actually saves and remembers where you last checked. So there's two. It's a little bit tricky to get that to pop up. Checkbox app. And then there we go. And it remembers that number 2 was the last one. So we're going to give that a go. That's your challenge. See how you go. If you haven't done a table view before, please do the previous video. That'll get you started. And then we're just going to apply some saving data techniques with this. All right, so if you have no idea what to do, don't worry, let's do it. So I'm just going to check that I've got, okay, good. I've got my one that I've already done before, just in case, so that this runs smoothly as possible and you don't have to watch me. You know, bugs usually happen when you're creating things, especially when you're recording them live. Anyway, let's build a new single view app. Now, actually, what I should do is get the previous project. That'll make things a little bit easier. So I will do that. And it is, let me just find it. Yep, I've got it. Okay, here we go. All right, so here's the previous project, and in here we had it selecting and deselecting, and when we deselected a row, it'll set the accessory type to none, and it'll check it if you select it. Now what we're going to do to save that information is we're going to use user defaults. It's all right for saving small amounts of information, but larger amounts you'll want to get into core data. So here we go, user defaults.standard. So I'm just going to create a little variable that'll access the user defaults. All right, so I'm just going to do a couple things. Here we go. Now the other thing is we need to track which cells have been checked. So what we'll do is we'll create another array. We could even just set it to a number if we like a variable number as well, because we're only just remembering one, but an array could be quite useful if you're checking multiple cells. So I'm going to use an array just to do that, just in case down the road you want to do multiple cell selection. And it's just going to be, I'm going to initialize it with int because it's going to track which cell row I click on. Now, let's see. So when we select a row, we want to save that data. All right, so in did select row, which is not deselect, be careful which one. We want did select. And in here, what I'm going to do is we're just going to use the checked array and append the index path row. Okay, and then we're going to save the data. Now to save it, we're just going to save the array, the checked array. So I'm going to put that in another function here. Save data. And then in here, we just put user defaults or ud.set. Don't worry about that. It'll work with anything. We're going to put checked, and we'll call it our check data. Be careful when you use strings for keys. You really want to do an enum or something like that, so that, or like a variable would be good. We could go, not a var, it'll be a constant. Let's say checked data key. There we go. And then there's no chance of us making a mistake, as I'll go down here and put that as the key for our user data. All right, so that makes it safer. And then once we save it, we use ud.synchronize, which is down the bottom here. And that saves the user data when we save the data. So we're going to do checked and then save data. There we go. All right, let's give it a run. Now there is going to be something that happens and you'll notice it. Actually, before I run it, I'm just going to print the checked array. We'll see what's going on with it when we select the row. All right, so I've saved 3. Okay, oh, something's going on there. Now, as you can see, it's saving multiple, which is okay, but we've only got 1 selected. So what we want to do here, so that we're just saving 1, is let's initialize it. So it's always going to have just 1 thing in it when we save it. Now, if I run that again, nothing's going to be brought up in this case because I haven't checked that checked array. So we have to do something in viewDidLoad. But let's just check what we just were working on. That's good now. So it's just saving 1 number, but the other could come in handy if you're doing multiple selection. All right, let's go back to the viewDidLoad. And what we're going to do is assign the saved user default array to our checked array so that we can get it from that saved location. So what we do, we want to check that it's not equal to nothing first. So let's do an if let. So we're going to get our checked data, and then we do ud.value for string. Now this is where we can use that variable before for our key, so we don't make any mistakes there. And what we have to do is make it optional so that we can run this if let. There we go. And then once that's done, we can assign it to our checked array. Get our checked data. And then let's print that as well, just to check that we're getting that as well. But we should see it when we load up the view. We should see something checked, right? Maybe. We'll see. All right, now 1 should be selected, but it's not, is it? So what we have to do now is run through in the cell configuration, and we want to check whether the accessory is checked or not. So what we do, we can do this. If the checked array dot contains the index path row, we're going to assign the accessory a check mark. And if it's not, else none, sorry. There we go. All right, one more time. So this goes through all of the cells, as you can see, because it did that with the index path row. It'll also check, yes, we want 1. Now remember, with an array, its index path works like an array, so it's 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay? All right, and we could, do that up here, so our brain's not going mental. We have to count from 0 from now on if you're a programmer. All right, and 1 should be selected. Great. Now, oh, look at that. So that's not good, is it? So how are we going to fix that? Let's have a look. Now, rather than doing deselect, I'm going to do something else. Let's get rid of the did deselect method. All right. And then when we select, I'm just going to reload the table view. So what you do is you go table view dot reload data. And what this will do is reload this here, the cell for row function. All right, we've got 2 selected. Hit 3, 4. There is a little bit of a, you see that little glitch, that one there, that select highlighting. And what we can do, we can get rid of that. I'll show you how to get rid of that as well. What we do is run cell. In here, the cell configuration. We'll make the selection style nothing. There we go, and running really smoothly. And it's also going to save it. Oh, there it is. Checkbox app. Yep, it saved it at 0. Awesome. So that could be really useful for a settings section of your app, and it will remember what you, and that's all you do. You just access the user defaults and it's key to get what the settings are set to. All right, hope you enjoyed that. Thanks a lot. Have a good one, and we'll talk soon.